This week's Parsha talks about how Yaakov is finally finished from his personal life journey. He's made it back from Lavan. He has escaped Esav. He can finally sit down to rest. He can finally be able to learn Torah day and night like he used to back in the day. But then he gets hit with this whole ordeal with his kids. Because now that he has 12 kids, the chances are they're not going to get along most of the time, but this time was a little more than your average children's fight. The other brothers believe that Yaakov favors Vayeishev, so when Yosef comes to check on them, they sell him and they ship him to Mitzrayim, and they tell Yaakov that Yosef is dead. This is the storyline for the next couple Parshas, the journey of Yaakov and his sons and Yosef in Mitzrayim. It's quite a fascinating story, but it has nothing to do with the name of this week's Parsha. The name of this week's Parsha is Parshas Vayeishev, and he settled, where things were quiet and calm and nice. But aside from the first pasuk of this week's Parsha, where Yaakov finally got to sit down and catch a moment's rest, his children are already fighting. They sent one of the brothers away to Egypt, and now they tell Yaakov that his son is dead. What type of quiet, settled Parsha is this? It gets more interesting that Rashi comments on this, and Rashi explains that Yaakov requested to finally live out the rest of his life in peace and tranquility, but Hashem says no, because if tzaddikim are going to get such a reward in Olam Haba, there is no way you're getting such a nice reward in Olam Hazeh. What on earth? That's not a very nice thing to say. First of all, why is that a rule? Why do tzaddikim get so many challenges? Second of all, did Yaakov not have a hard enough situation to finally be able to have a moment's rest? He had the first 13 years fighting with his brother. Then his mother told him to steal his brother's brachas, which he did correctly. And now his brother wanted to kill him. Esav was going after his life. He goes to Lavan, has to work there for so many years to get his 2 wives. I think he did enough to deserve to sit and learn Torah for a little bit. This whole ordeal is very confusing. Explains the Rebbe that all you have to do is look at the next pasuk. The next pasuk says, Eila told this Yaakov, these are the children of Yaakov, and then proceeds to talk about Yosef for the rest of the parsha. Explains the Rebbe this was no mistake, because Yosef, who is known as Yosef HaTzadik, has something that takes Yaakov's avodah, that takes Yaakov's service to the entirely new extreme. It's in his name. Yosef is called Yosef, which in English means to add. Rachel named him Yosef, not because, as simply understood, she wanted another son, but she wanted Yosef to turn the others into sons. Go in the outside, take the challenges and overcome them. Turn them into stepping stools, turn them into building blocks for future success. That is exactly what Yosef did. He literally had the entire world thrown at him, and he did not give up for one moment. He stood strong, he persevered, and ultimately got the award of being the second in command of the most powerful country at the time. Back to Yaakov. What was really happening was Yaakov wanted to rest and sit and learn Torah for a little bit. Hashem tells Yaakov, yes, on your level, on your standpoint, you can sit and learn Torah and everything will be just fine. But you are missing out on so many great things. But if you let your children maximize their full potential, your rest, your reward, your nachas will be so much greater. In order to do that, you and your children will face a challenge the likes of which have never been seen before. But boy, was it worth it, because once Yaakov saw that Yosef had the right values, that he was able to come to Mitzrayim and survive, bring his whole family there, and his entire family prospered, Yaakov wasn't just happy for Yosef, he was happy that every single one of his future descendants, Jews for generations and thousands of years, will have the power and the ability to overcome any challenge the world throws at them. And therefore the name of this week's Parsha is perfectly fitting, because even though it wasn't settled now, this laid the foundation, this laid the groundwork for the ultimate time where we were going to be settled, for the ultimate time where we will all be together with Yaakov, with Yosef HaTzadik, with the coming of Mashiach. May it come speedily in our days. Wishing you a good Shabbos.